Hello, Pete here. Just want to provide an educational space to show you how you can track when liquidity is pulled. We'll utilize Lillian token as they just pulled liquidity yesterday. Um, a little bit about Lillian token. Um, when I came in to do an audit of their system, it was discovered that I believe it was 92 ETH came missing, and did an investigation. I was able to correlate the wallets based on MetaMask JSON files that were pulled for each account, the transactions, the transaction history, the dates, the timestamps, and tie some of these transactions that collaborated at the same time with other personal transactions. So that's some of the tools I used. Feeling sorry for Lillian and really believing that they had a medical solution, I assisted. And because I was told that they were all going through financial hardship. I was not paid for my services for hours and hours invested. Um, I would later determine that during the time I was busting my butt, OTC was something that was released by the Lillian Daves, Cody and Luis and Brad, and then I just recently found out what it was, and lo and behold, they took 72K to their personal wallets while telling me and a colleague that they were not getting paid and there was financial hardship. I was told the same for Cody's dev team that worked with him, that they could not pay their bills and rent. I later determined that as we were paying them, or as they were getting paid, they were gambling the money in other tokens. Last but not least, when I came in, there was no intellectual property. There were no pending patents. It was all nonsense. I don't care if he says, if Brad says he had it in a tube and nobody's seen it, only his daughter, and he has it up in his office. Well, when are you going to show it to somebody? Because you've been doing this for 2 years. And when I got there, there was absolutely zero utility. Nothing was built at all. They had no application. They haven't even started the blockchain. They had no idea what they were doing, to be honest. It was my friend Max and I who worked and collaborated to think about the blockchain, to think about the application. Um, and so a little disappointing there. I found this out after the fact. But let's get into this. As you can see here, this is kind of an educational piece for the newbies here. Dex Tools is what I am utilizing. I've located the Lillian token by typing in LYF, ticker if you will, in the search. It brought it over. In order to get into Etherscan, you have the luxury of having the tools here that'll help you gain somewhat of what you're looking for. So I will hit View Contract, which takes me to Etherscan. As you can see here, it brings us to Etherscan, and then you can see the token ticker here. Here's the token contract. If you click on the token contract, it'll tell you who the contract creator was. Sometimes the contract creator is the same person who has access to transact within the contract. Sometimes they'll transfer ownership to somebody else, which is the case here. But if you look here, the green arrows, it tells you there's a contract. This is what I like to use because this is basically going to point me, if the contract's not renounced, to who has access to these keys. It's the dev, but I mean, I should say what wallet has access, the possibility to transact. So we click on contract here, as you can see, and if you have remix or something to that equivalent, you can actually copy this over. You can run cool tools like Slither and look for discrepancies within the code, look for reentrancy errors and all that good stuff. But obviously, I don't expect everyone to know how to read these functions and read the code. Luckily, there is a way of reading this that'll get you started. Here are the functions. What we're looking for is, if not renounce, who the owner is, who owns. And this will be the wallet that allows for transactions to be made, who has keys. When we talk about changes to the contract and all that, we're talking about the owner here, and you can see the address. It's not necessarily the creator of the contract, because ownership was moved to somebody else, given to somebody else. And when we talk about making changes to the contract, changing values and all that, this is where they go. They connect their wallet and they can make changes on their own here. But at any rate, let's go back to read contract. Let's go back to the owner. Let's see what the owner did. So if we go to the owner, I have some pre-canned wallets on here that have Brad's personal wallets and whatnot. I have my God, I have about 20 to 30 maybe that belong to Brad, but you can kind of get to populate these private name tags. For example, this one's Lillian Finance Contract Owner 3. So according to my notes, this was created at this time. One of the things I balk at is when we left, when I left Lillian and Navras started, I asked specifically to create a new owner. At this point, Brad could say and point it over to Cody and say, well, Cody never created a new contract owner, and then he has access to it, and blame him for taking the liquidity. But I mean, I'm pretty confident it wasn't him, and I'll tell you why. Because the day prior, this was released, or a couple of days before that, we knew something funky was happening, and then Brad deleted his Twitter when he took the funds and created a whole chaos. So I'm pretty sure it wasn't Cody. But moving forward, all holders will be made whole in time as the work continues. So he's saying, hey, I'm taking the money, but I'll pay you back. I have your wallet addresses. But how does that even work? You don't even know who the holders are, and you left. I personally will be bringing the solution to the community that stood to support us during this challenging time. I have shared numerous wallets of this guy taking money, and people called bullshit, but here we are, right? Lies and more lies, like with not having any product, with having patents and not be getting. I mean, these guys, these devs, I've come to the realization that didn't work, and we're living off investor money. That's what it looks like. And I'll have to explain $72,000 from OTC while they're saying they're not getting paid to do work, right? Anyway, we've captured snapshots of wallets holders, and I will take care of the holders at Lillian today. Yeah, really, we trust you, Mr. Rico Case. I mean, he does owe a plethora of money to the race car driver, and was supposed to be paying him $10,000 approximately on a monthly basis. I know he stopped. We are working with our contacts in law enforcement daily. You have no contacts in law enforcement. When I spoke to your legal team, they were supposed to call me so that we can prosecute whoever took the 90 ETH. I think his name was Barney, the dinosaur. They never called me. You have nobody. You're part of this. The show will go on. The development will go on. Development of what? You have no freaking utility. You have nothing. As a matter of fact, when I was excited about Lillian and blockchain was, 2 years ago? That train has passed. There have been many, many new blockchains that have been developed and are way better than what we can do for healthcare. I mean, the DoD's working on one called Constellation. Thank you, Mr. Max, for the information. But I mean, there's so many blockchains now that it'd be foolish to create one specific for medical. That's why we went the application side. I think the community will be pleasantly surprised with the solution. It is our moral duty. Yeah, morals. You have many morals, my friend. You and Mr. Cody, who took money from Navras and invested it to buy tokens. It's our moral duty to do so, and I look forward to unveiling a plan as soon as we are able to. Yes, like the team you never had that you supposedly had. Stoddy, where are you in all this? Please continue to trust the process. Man, I've told you guys there is no damn process. The current team is clear of all wrongdoing. Based on who? And I will relay the announcements per authority from the enforcement agency and legal counsel. What the hell does that even mean? I met with your legal counsel from Gunster. Her name is Lena, and I'm not going to say her last name right here, but she's from Gunster Law Firm in Florida, and you were delinquent in her monthly payments for the law firm. I mean, you are so full of shit, my friend. At any rate, I'm getting too passionate here, so let's go back. Alright, we're back to the contract here. And so let's go back to read contract. Come on. I think I might have already pulled it up here. Yeah, here we go. So this is the contract owner. I labeled it LYF contract owner 3. I have the first contract that was generated. I have the second I have the first wallet that was generated, the second wallet that was generated, and third, and labeled as contact owners as we transitioned and as we got rid of some people. Let's focus on the 26th here. There was a withdraw, as you can see here, for liquidity pool lockers at 4:22. This is UTC time, so don't be fooled. It's UTC time. It's not Central Time Standard or whatever, but it was UTC. And as you can see here, the only person who has access to this is the contract owner. And you can see here there were some interactions with this wallet, which I have labeled as wallet Brad internal 4. So it was his wallet. I mean, I know it was his because it's his Coinbase account. If we go here, I have it labeled as 4, and you can see here that he's been doing having some interactions with his Coinbase wallets. Here's the Lilly Foundation going back. Let's go back here. So he was up at this time or doing something this time. Here's where he removed the liquidity. I want to say about a minute later from this transaction. And we can take a look at that function with that method ID. Here we can see that it's approximately 40K. If we click show more, we can actually see what's happening. If we switch back, here's your method ID, which is that function in itself. But what's interesting here is, okay, so here's the liquidity pool, and I took the liberty of labeling these as LYF liquidity pool wallet. A lot of these devs are really dumb, and they don't actually take the time to test the wallet. And so he's been, he sent some ETH over. He transferred some ETH over. Whoever did this, honestly, this is for me too clean, too meticulous, and Brad's kind of a dumbass. So somebody else had to do this, unless I don't know. I think he paid somebody, and we'll get to that. It'll come up. But I labeled the wallet that was used to pull liquidity, total of almost 18 ETH. And as you can see here, here's the LYF contract owner 3, which we know is responsible for pulling the liquidity and has access to the contract. There's a split here. He sends, here's that 0.005. Once again, to test the wallet, make sure it goes through. Boom. Here's a transfer of 6.48. Here's another test to a different wallet, and a transfer of 11.4. This right here, I label Liquidity Pool Wallet 1. We can see here's a transaction, and immediately they sent it over to crypto.com. I have all their wallets in terms of what they utilize to cash out, and these guys are Coinbase gurus. Well, I shouldn't say gurus, dumbasses. So I know that this crypto.com is somebody else. But, you know, these people make mistakes. We'll catch them. So here's where I think the individual that helped transfer his funds, right? And like I said, we'll catch him. And then the other thing that's interesting, so here's wallet number 2. I labeled it wallet number 2. They sent that test right here, and it worked. So right away they transferred the 11.4 ETH. Send over to Uniswap. Took a bunch of ETH. The interesting thing is, at least this guy, if he's gonna invest the LYF and make Lillian whole again, like he claims in his letter, then why are you gambling the money? Why are you buying tokens? Pond, lock. Ooh, all right. So, I mean, who does that? You know, this is like what Cody did in Nabrits. He pulled funds and purchased tokens. So, we'll keep an eye on this. But once again, if you are going to adhere to keeping the Lillian investors whole, why the hell are you gambling it? That is all I have. I just wanted to show what happened. Once again, I've been telling a lot of people, nobody seems to listen. They all have this dream that these guys are going to do anything. But I learned by going in internally that, man, these guys, you know, you trust them not to, these guys are good liars, man. I think, and I shared some tweets, but this is the new welfare system. Let's create a token. Let's not work. Let's make these false promises. Let's hype people up, and let's live off of these investors. The fuck? Thank you all.